Hello, 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 hello. How are we all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What is happening? What is happening indeed? Big news on the stream front. Look at that. There's a Discord server where, I don't know, there's three of us. We're talking about trains, I guess. Got the good tea now. New packet. Doesn't taste like peppermint. Three and a bot, yes. Three and a bot. A bot that is quite silent. A bot that, well, it'll post every time you open a PR at least. So, what is the plan for today? Well, hello. Hello, train game. Nice to see you. If I put a train down here and I put a train down here, you will see that they kind of wait for each other, which is nice. But if I speed one up, oh god, where's this one even going? Oh, it's never going to overlap. So we'll just try that again. This track is a mess. Well, what happens if I do this? Oh, actually, that works out. Anyway, what we're doing is the interactions between trains is still not quite perfect enough for my liking. So I'd like to see if we can fix that. And to do that, I want to do some more wonderful diagnoses type layers. Good morning, Tim. Thank you for joining me. Thank you everyone for joining me, actually, especially because Dev Around the Sun is ongoing. And in fact, in about an hour, the wonderful Mr. John Skeet will be speaking. And, well, you know, maybe we'll all just watch him instead of this. I can't catch that train. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out. Delete. Oh, I got it. Yeah, so there's still issues with this. Let me draw some more sensible tracks here. If I do this and do this, two trains on these tracks have a reasonable chance of interacting, right? If they go different speeds. That makes sense. No, see, that worked. Anyway, sometimes they just get a bit too close, and I don't know why, but I think I know why. And in fact, if I put in more, I think you can see this even better, where this one now is waiting, but now it goes, but yeah, see, they almost overlapped there. It should be better, and I'd like it to be better, and I'd like to work out why it's not. And I have a hunch. So what I think is happening is, so these trains are looking ahead of themselves. Like, I think that one just sailed through that gap there. They're looking ahead of themselves to see if there's a train visible. But they get very inconsistent results. So this one stopped around here before, almost a full cell away from any other train. But then up here, it got to here, which is less than a full cell. So what I want to do is I want a layer that essentially draws where the train is looking, I guess. And what I think the problem is, if I stop, no, I don't want to stop that train. I want to stop this train. So this train now is presumably looking at this cell, which is why it stopped. But it also should be looking at this cell. And likewise, these trains need to be looking at every cell up until where they're looking. And then I think maybe what they also need to do is check for trains. How to explain this? A train needs to check. A train is currently checking if there's another train where it wants to go. But I think there maybe needs to be a threshold on that, and it maybe needs to check for, is a train going to be where I want to go, which is essentially, is a train looking at the same cell that I'm looking at? And I'm not sure how that's going to work, because that could cause deadlocks, but I think if we visualize it first, it might help. So that's the aim. We have no pull requests, and we have no issues, and we have a green build. So the other thing I would like to get to today, if we have time, and if we do, is actually create a release. So give you lovely people an exe you can download, because I sort of think that it's like it's pretty good now. Like, I mean, it's a bit ugly. I get it. I need to fix that, but you can put trains down and they stop and they go, and it's kind of a bit of fun. So I think it's at a nice point for a V1 or a V0.1. But I would like to get the trains interacting a little bit better. So the other interesting thing is I did a stream on Thursday, I think, last Thursday, and I didn't upload it to YouTube. It was fun. I hung out with some people and I listened to music, which was great. I probably sang. I apologize. I didn't spill tea on myself, unlike now, but I did a few things. So nothing functional, but what I did was I separated Blazor off to its own branch. Actually, I think I even did that off stream because that was just a lot of mangling with Git, which was fun. But anyway, but I have Comet as a submodule now. So I had it as project references from my local drive and then package references locally, and but now it's a submodule, so we can easily step into the code, and I can even easily, like, this is a submodule of my fork of Comet, so if I make a change, I can easily PR that fix. So it's just a bit neater, and all the code analysis errors have been fixed up, and then inside each of these, I just organize things into folders a bit. Yes, this is fresh tea. This is lovely non-peppermint tainted tea. It's even Lipton brand, not the Aldi brand that I had before. I feel a bit silly saying that to someone who lives in the UK because it's hardly any better. Hey, thank you for following TBD Gamer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Did that sound thing work? Did it go blink? I didn't hear it. Anyway, hopefully you heard it. If not, blink. Okay, so yeah, what we're doing is we're creating a new layer, and I guess layer renderer. Yeah, let's just shove it in this bucket. Shove it in this layer renderer folder. And this is going to be, when it opens, what is this? We'll call this the train look ahead renderer. And it's going to need a bunch of stuff from train. We need to expose that we don't have exposed, so this will be interesting. Enabled. Off by default. Gonna call it train look ahead. Might be too long. All right. Excuse me. So what do we need to do? We need a game board to get our trains from. That much is clear. Oh, yes, we need a heating segment. So it's a simple matter of copying this to start with, and we probably need these pixelmappers. So okay, for each train we want to save. Yep. Yes, we will need some coordinates. Yeah, this is very oh, that's interesting. Okay, we have to think about how we're going to do this, because what do trains know? They don't know pixels. Yeah, so we still need the pixel mapper because trains don't know pixels. So that's going to essentially, now we're at the point where we want to draw something. So where are we? We want to be in game board. And in here. No, so in here. Excuse me. So we need to basically store a bunch of stuff on the train that tells us all of this stuff. So here we are saying move our dummy train this far. And if that works, then we move our real train. So what we need to do is we need to move our dummy train that far. This is interesting because we actually want it to move and not ever return false, really. Allow me to demonstrate what I mean by that, because I did not explain that well. So this train, let's pretend I stopped it perfectly in this cell. This train, let's say, is currently looking at this cell. So we want this cell to be colored in, green. I don't know. And we want that to always happen. If a train is here, this train should be causing this cell to go green. But currently with this code, it'll essentially try to move. Because this train is here, it won't move. So it'll never set its new column. So I guess we just need to set it in here. Store the dummy train on the train. Yes, well, store the dummy train's position at least. Yes, okay, so this get next position. Actually, the other thing we could just do is call get next position. Because this method, I mean, this is static. We could totally just call this, actually. Because that's really what this thing wants to know. It just wants to know, hey, give me the next position for this train. Yeah, let's do that. That could work. That could work nicely. And I think it's probably also worth, after we do this, pull that up. Making this, maybe moving this code to somewhere else. Maybe. This already has a game board, but feels a bit wrong on there. So next pos equals, so we should be able to now go get next position. Yeah, this definitely feels bad. This is a terrible method. Distance, okay, we're going to need to do something about distance. And then track is get track for train. Awesome. Now that's an instance method that could probably, this code could just move into this method, because I'm guessing that's all it does. Yep, get track for train. Cool. All right, so then distance. So our distance to move here is this. And our distance is this. So we need to get a function that returns the distance. It needs to loop across tracks because get next pos returns the remaining distance to travel. Oh, you're right. This is sorry, you're right. The loop is outside of this. That's a good point. But actually then, so looking at this code, so this does check all of the tracks up until the point that we want to look, which is good, but that's interesting. Store the results of the move in the bool. Save the pos, do the if. What I was thinking actually was this method, separate out calculating each of these new positions, return a list of positions, and then the checking for the train, for the overlap, happens separately. I think that might be easier. So move train is really give me a series of positions for this train, each one building on the next. And then this happens at the end to the last one, to as far as we get before it's valid. Or maybe we choose not to move at all if there's something in front of us. That's another interesting thing we need to think about. Do we get as close as we can, or do we stop early? And I kind of like the idea of stopping early, because if we bring in a concept of deceleration, then stopping earlier kind of gives you space to decelerate. But yes, okay, so making this public is not good necessarily. We need to change this into a method that gets me all of the positions. This will be interesting. Okay, let me comment out that and get rid of this from the interface again. And now, before I do this refactoring, oh no, we've got tests that cover this, right? Yeah, the train movement tests cover this. Okay, so I can fairly safely refactor this. We'll just run some tests. 40 minutes till John Skeet. I've got a deadline. I know words. Oh, unexpected error. Doesn't compile. Man, it's so fussy about using directives. I mean, I like it. I'm fussy about using directives. But I kind of only want that on, PRs, not really necessarily my personal inner loop. But anyway. Oh, do I need to close this? Probably. Come on. Okay, build succeeded. What version are we on? Is 16.7 out yet? No, 16.6 preview 6. Okay, all the tests pass. Let us refactor. So, to move a train, we want a list of steps. It is get next steps for the train to move for this distance. And when we get the steps, what is this? When does this return false? Distance less than. Okay, so this will move as far as it can. Oh, that's interesting. That could be a bug. So this is going to say no, I couldn't move, but actually it could move some of the way. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so what would happen here is, so this essentially needs to, well, we're going to have this break. Okay, so we want this logic separate. Let's just do this for now. So this is I guess this is a train position array. Does train position have distance on it? Yes. So this is a train position array called get next steps. And what it does, so what it does is it gets the next position and then it doesn't check anything. It just moves the train, which is not what I want. Ah, bugger. So train position doesn't store column and row is the problem. I guess we can add that in. Yeah, in fact, if we add in train position, if we add in column and row to train position, I think we can get rid of the dummy train bit, because this is all on train position. And actually then that means get next position can set the column and row rather than returning it, which makes this method nicer. Cell position and board position rather than train position. Cell position and board position. I'm not sure I know what you mean. I mean, certainly train position is a bad name. It should be called, I don't know, vehicle position, because it'll be a car eventually. But the board position is in pixels, and none of this is pixels. Pixels is only a thing of the renderer. Yes, movable position, but I hate the term iMovable. Let's do this. Let's go and let's add column, and so position dot column and position dot row. Let's add those to here, which is probably nicer anyway, because now this can just return a position, so we get rid of a slightly ugly tuple or tuple. And we go to that. And this is only ever called there. Oh, it's just the null check. Oh, that's nullable. Wait. Yeah, let's make that nullable. Let's simplify this. Let's simplify this. If any position is it null, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. That one. And then drag is null, null. All right, and then yeah, we don't need that. I can add that to the constructor. I'll clean that up later though. That's not static anymore. Cool. All right, so now we have the position. New position isn't null. So as long as there's a track there, that's fine. Otherwise we break, that's fine. So then here, all we want to do is add that to our results. Yep, new position. And that's it. And get rid of all of that. And what are we returning here? We are returning if... Oh no, we're returning results. Nice. And I'm just going to make this a list, and I can always clean that up later too, but yeah, it's a private method. Okay, so this gets the steps. So then inverse the ifs to press. Yeah, I will clean it up, don't worry. Okay, so then what we want to do here is for each train position, new position in I think I've also just seen a problem there. I need to not use this train because we're never updating this train. So this, yeah, this needs to be the last position we were at. That's interesting. That actually I think will be quite nice, because that means that this train position, which is, well, we need a better word, but this is all you need to calculate where something should be. Okay, so this is now new position of column, position of row. That's annoying. Drag. Grr. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Wait, what was track? Track's the current track. So that's that. And if track is null, we return false. And then that's new position dot column, position dot row, distance. We can get rid of that. Next steps goes from a position and a distance to a position without the rotation of a train. It still has the rotation, just doesn't know it's a train. But train position has the angle on it. So I think it still has rotation, but yeah, it certainly seems a bit nicer. And in fact, we don't even need to do this. Yeah, we could make this smarter and loop backwards and not constantly move the train, but that's all right. Notation. Without the notation. Oh, notation. The notion. Yes, that's right. The notion of a train, not the rotation. Sorry. It's the chat over there that I'm looking at is dark mode, and this is light mode. And whoops. And I hit the microphone with my cup of tea. I have very old eyes. So, okay, what was, I said there was a bug, yes. So get next position actually takes a train position. And so our train position, is equal to result.last or default, or do we have a train.position? No. Train.getPosition. I'm just making new methods all over the place. Isn't there something that makes a position from a train? There's got to be some code here. Here it is. All right, and then this, we don't know a distance, so we'll just not worry about it. And we also want column and row. And for that, apparently we need a new constructor, and boy, has it got the constructor wrong there. That, and it has got to be int column int row. Angle 1 and V. So it's the column. Okay, does that compile? No. Why doesn't this compile? Oh, bull. Yay, type inference. Okay. Cool, so that's that. I actually think, yeah, this down here can go away because this is now a position. And so I actually could get rid of that whole thing. Oh, now I need the track again. Grr. I just got rid of this. I mean, actually, I don't need the track again. Like, what does this do? Yeah, I can totally... In fact, isn't there a get... There's no get track method that takes a... Yeah, get track at. Yeah, I can totally just use that method. That's nicer. Get track at... Okay, so we don't need that, and we can just do this and this. That is lovely. That is... Oh, wait. No. Now we're modifying that position. Ugh. Is that okay? No, that's probably not okay. Hmm. 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 Yeah, I was thinking that. We probably need a clone. Does move modify it? Yeah, it must. Yep. Okay. Um. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Immutable. That's why I was looking if move didn't modify it. I would maybe go with immutable, but not now. Definitely would be a good idea in future. Colin. Could you make move return instance? Yes, you definitely could. And I mean, if we had immutable, it pretty much would have no choice but to do that. So when, not if, but when it becomes immutable, that is what will happen. But for now, why are there 97 references of that? I would have thought there'd be 0. Ah, tests. Oh god, I hope I haven't broken all of the tests. Hey, thank you for following. It's Litany, and hey, welcome, Jeff. Thank you for following. What are you doing not watching Dev Around the Sun? That's, shouldn't you be working? I was going to offer to work, but, well, it ends in like an hour, and it's 9 o'clock at night. All right, what were we doing? I've lost. I'm lost. Okay, we have that. We have that. How far are we from running these tests? Not all code paths return a value. So this should now move from our last position to our next position. That's excellent. I'm realizing I wasn't following everyone on the team. You know, I'm not following everyone on the team either because I feel bad just going and following them without watching them. But time zones, it's hard for me to watch everybody. But thank you for the follow anyway. I appreciate it. Okay, we need to return more values. So is this just a matter of returning false from here? Ah, no. So this is returning the last position we got up to if its distance is 0. So last position is, sadly null. And no, we want to do it in there. So last position dot distance is, I think it was less than or equal to 0, wasn't it? Or less than or equal to 0.1. I've forgotten what the tolerance is on these things. Less than or equal to 0. Okay, cool. Make it a float. Yeah, so as we go through, we'll move the train at each step. And if there's a track in the way, we'll brake early. If we run out of steps, we'll finish. But if we ran out of steps because there wasn't a track there, this will brake early. So if the last position we expect to be at is got 0 left to move, then everything was fine. Okay, I think this should now be able to run tests and see if the tests pass. And I'm not highly confident, but, well, we'll cross our fingers. "25 minutes till we all go and watch John skate." It is tempting. Boy, it's freezing in Melbourne, and I could totally just go upstairs and lie in bed and watch TV instead of streaming. As fun as this is. This unexpected error. What is the unexpected error? Oh, it's not a me thing. Okay. Cool. Well, the tests are running. And of course, just as I said, it's cold today. The heating has come on and I'm getting a bit warm. Infinite loop, anybody? Alright. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I think it's more fun to test this visually. Get next position. Now, this has a while. Distance. I'm never setting distance. So distance is new position dot distance. Stop. Okay, let's see if this works. And I tell you what, this is where I owe everything to you, Scott, because tests is what is allowing this refactor. Okay. That's surprisingly only 196 failed. Let's see what that looks like. There's obviously some bugs, but let's just... Okay. Well, it didn't work. And I always forget to start the debugger. That's surprising, I think. To go from infinite loop to absolutely nothing, that's kind of surprising. What are our steps? We cannot obtain... Oh, man. I'm in release mode. Why am I in release mode? I do not know, but I'm in release mode. Let's start that again. Nope, let's start that again. Go compiler. That helps speed it up. Some voice recognition. Okay. We have a step. You know what I should have done? So that's going to 4,2. Where is it now? It is at 4,2. Okay, so the steps did not work. Let's see if we can work out why. So we're moving 1.5 from 4,2, half, fine. Ugh, that did nothing. Okay. There's a track. We have cloned. That's a worry. Oh, distance is 0. Oh, this distance. I'm not using this. Look at this. See how this is grey? Okay. Oh, right. So it should clone, but then set a new distance. Yeah, that makes sense. Distance being on the position. It's kind of weird. It's kind of really weird. I'm almost tempted to make that a parameter of clone just because otherwise it's going to cause a bug in future. Yeah, distance being on position is really, really weird, but then now I've got to reintroduce tuples again. I don't want to. You'd have to have an array of tuples return, like a list of tuples. So challenge for the chat, come up with a class name that represents a position plus a distance. Have move take a position and distance. Yeah, actually that's well, no, see, I still need it returned from here because I need to know how much distance is left to move, and then it still needs to be returned from here as well. So, yeah, I need a new thing. Oh, only 28 failed. Interesting. Yeah, I just need a new class name that is a position and a distance, which I guess if I think back to year 10 physics is like vector or... No, wait, vector, has a vector got a distance? Yeah, it's got a... I think that's right. But vector's taken. I think. Well, I know vector 3 is taken. All right, so what happens? We're still not moving, but oddly we pass lots more tests. So, okay, so we're at 4, oh no, we're at 3,2, we're moving 1.5. We are now at 3,2 still, but we've moved to the edge of the cell and we've got distance left to move. Yeah, track.move there really should return a distance. It kind of looks a bit silly now that I've done all the rest of this work. But anyway, so, we haven't moved the column yet. Fine. Okay, so we're moving to 4,2. Excellent. We've got one cell 0.05 to move, still to go. So that looks right. It's not null. That's right. We're now at 5,2 and have 0.05. That's right. This is looking good. Now we should be at 5,2. We're in a bit. Looks cool. Oh, it's because it's not. Yeah, no, that's right. Then this should exit the loop. Yep. Okay, so we have 3 steps to move. We go to 4,2. We go to 5,2 at the edge, and then we go to 5,2 in a tiny bit from the edge. Sounds good. And then we go through the steps, starting. Is that our current position or is that our first step? Yeah, that's our first step. We're happy with that, so we move. Then, yep. Okay. Hang on. What? No. Why? That I don't think should have happened. So we're trying to move to 5,2. There's no other train. We have a next track. Hold up. Can we see which bit of this is failing easily? No. I want like a break apart if thing. Spatial vector. Oh, that sounds fancy. I just realized the full movement tests check that you loop around to the original position, so if you never move, then technically you are in the right place. That is a nice edge case for tests. Okay, so track. I can't see whether. So our track is in our next track. Our track. Oh, our track is not connected to our next track. That's interesting. So it should be this one. 4,2. It's happy and horizontal. Next track is 5,2. Oh, I've got this track once. I need to get it inside the loop. There's the problem. Inverting those ifs and breaking them out. I don't know about inverting, but yes, breaking them out would definitely be easier. I agree. We will do this. Yes, I need to get that, and I need to get. This is get track at new position dot column and then new position dot row, which also means I think good old. Oh no, wait, hang on, that's not right. Oh no, wait, I need to. That's right, but then. Oh no, it is no, never mind. It is just this. Yeah, just need to do that at the start. So get the current track for the train. This is the next track. Okay, that should work. Yeah, separating out those ifs is probably a good idea. I need to check track is null. Is that going to build or is that going to complain about my nullable problem? It built, and it is now doing whatever tests do. Come on. Yes. All right. Awesome. 525 tracks passed. So if track was null here, I mean track can't be null there, right? Can I do that? Awesome. Nullable bang operator. Actually, I guess it could be null because it could be this. Yeah, okay. All right. Track is null, then just return false. All right, so we have working trains, and we can now get a list of steps for a train to take. Okay. Now, this method is the one I want to make public, or rather part of the interface. And then this is the one I want to draw. I think, yes, I think that makes sense. So we'll pull this up, and we will go to here, and we will say, for each position in get next steps. Ugh, this all needs to be cleaned up so much. Like get next steps could probably go on train. Although no, because train doesn't get created by DI. Maybe. And then distance to move. So this needs to be train.get. What did we call it? We call it look ahead distance. But I'm going to change look ahead distance. So look ahead distance is, we're just going to do this, and speed scale modifier, that's public. Okay, cool. So look ahead distance is that plus that. And obviously this constant should go somewhere else, but there we go. Why? This is not available in the current context. Oh, right, it's a settable thing. Okay. Oh, whoa. Yeah, okay, that needs to now be... Oh, that's annoying. Look ahead override is... let's make it nullable. Okay. So we have look at distance comes from train, which is good. So we get rid of that. Distance. Let's put this in train as well, actually. Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Because now distance to move now we can move speed scale modifier into here, and we don't need it anywhere else, I believe. Yay. I also think I might change it. As default speed is 10, I would like our default speed, I think, to be 20, but to be the same speed, just, you know, represented higher, so you've got more room to slow down. So if I times that by 2, I just divide that by 2, which means I add a 0. Wait, that's not right. I do that. I think that's right. I'm very bad at math. I'm not confident with anything I've done. Oh, and the build failed. Oh. Oh. Damn it. This is what I get for not reviewing code. How many? 15. Oh, it's so many. And I mucked up a thing. What did I muck up here? Oh yeah, I should draw something. We want distance to move. Okay, what have you done to me, Scott? So you're setting the speed to be distance divided by movement divided by speed. Well, that's okay. All right, I'll just make this. I'll just make it public. Hopefully, wait, are all of the tests, are your numbers in the test dependent on this value being 0.005? Because that'd be funny. Oh, that'd be so funny. Go away. Okay, let's see if this works. Otherwise, I'll just put it back. We'll just make the default a little bit faster. I just feel like when you put a train down, then you press slower and you can only press it once. It's kind of annoying. But 20 is probably not too far. Not too bad. All right. If we put this back, do the tests pass? Because if so, I think someone's gone a bit too implementation specific with their tests. Just saying. Come on, tests. Damn it. What did I bugger up there? Trains move nice and fast too. That's interesting. Nothing should have broken there, right? All these maths is the same. Unless it depends on the initial speed being 10 as well. Let's try that. I mean, I can delete these tests anyway, right? Because we know the code works. So that's what you do with tests after they pass. You just delete them. I think. No one clicked that. Point to point 100 step. I don't even know what these tests are doing. I literally have never looked at the code of them. All right, we'll dig into that later. Movement test, point to best, 3 horizontal tracks. You would think 3 horizontal tracks would work. Anyway. All right, so we, in theory, now have this ready to go. So let's go back to our renderer. So all we need to do now is color in all of these squares. That sounds too easy, but it should be fine. Let's grab that and plonk it down there. So this is we need no, we need that. Hang on. Does this translate? No. No, we don't want this. Okay, we don't want to translate. We want to just do this, which also means we don't do a save and restore. And then this is position and position, and we need a parameters, which is, was it game parameters? Nope. Track parameters? That sounds better. And we need a paint. We're going to use light green, light purple. Let's try that. And we need an order. 449. What do we got here? Diagnostics is 1,000. Is that on top? Where's track layout? 450. Trains is 500. Okay, so I can see why happiness is 449. just below tracks. I want. I mean, this was a silly number. Let's go 400. No, wait. What? Something was 450, wasn't it? I've forgotten. Grr. Okay, track layout is 450. Wait. What? Oh yeah, 400. Yeah, that's right. 400. Yes, it was 449. Okay. So this one can be 420. Lol. 425, just so you stop snickering in the audience. Okay, let's see if this works. So this should color in every cell that is checked, I believe. This assumes the logic of the drawing code matches the checking code. I like that. That looks really nice. I could watch that all day. That's so cool. So my distance is set to, was it 1.5? I forgot where that is. Train now. Where's my, yeah, 1.5. Yeah, so 1.5 tracks. So when it gets halfway, it goes down to 1. That's so cool. So this, see, this is where I get confused, because if this is working, like if this is, I mean, yeah, if this is what it's drawing, then these trains should never get within a cell of each other, but they really do get close sometimes. And I think I just saw it there. Yeah, see, that one's far away. The look ahead changes, distance changes, broke them? Broke them how? No, this is what I want to see. So this is the purple drawing is now where these trains are checking for other trains. Oh, broke the test. Yes, broke the tests. Yeah, I'm not really worried about the tests because I know that they are highly specific with their numbers they input and numbers they expect out, which is totally fantastic for validating all that trigonometry stuff. But yeah, it's highly sensitive, obviously. Oh, I really want a global pause button so I can stop it when it's doing something wrong and see, but it's also not doing anything wrong at the moment, which is frustrating. This looks way too far ahead in a lot of ways. But I guess the only thing we could do is that a train could look for any, essentially for any purple, and stop. It's a race condition. If the train coming down is 1 pixel away from entering the cross at the same time the left enters, you get it. Well, each train is checked individually. So is it a race condition? I'm not sure. If a train coming down is a small distance away from entering the cross at the same time as the left enters the track. Yeah, well, I guess someone enters it. Well, and so that's what I'm thinking is if this train sees that this train is looking here, maybe it stops. Maybe we reduce the distance, but we have it more sensitive to the other train's look ahead, which is probably difficult and possibly questionably valid, but maybe we should try it. Do you know what I actually want to do? John Skeet is speaking. Do we all want to go and watch John Skeet? We can watch him on YouTube later. Let's just make sure this works. 2.5. Oh, I am interested in most things John Skeet says. He's a lovely guy. But most of the week I look forward to working on trains, and I don't want to not. Cool, so that works. That's looking ahead extra far. Yeah, I kind of like that. See, now if there's a train in front, we could use all of this space here essentially to slow down. Raid Dave. He doesn't have control over the stream. He can't raid. But I could raid him. I don't know what good it would do. Yeah, so like here, instead of this train jolting, it could actually sort of decelerate and then this train would pull away, and so then this train would see that the coast is clear, and it could then accelerate up again. So the purple train, instead of going jug jug jug, it would just have this very smooth motion. I think that would be super fun to implement, and I definitely think we should. But yeah, do we want the trains to look into and to see another train's purple? I think we should try it. I feel like with a small look ahead, that might work well. But actually, there's one other potential problem with the look ahead. If I set this to less than a cell, is it going to ever be 0 cells in front? No, okay, it's not. But it does get, yeah, it gets right up to the edge. So you kind of want the look ahead to work on pixel positions so that it's always 1 cell in front. Like this isn't, what we've said here is look half a cell in front. Half a cell in front. But actually what we're doing is we're looking anywhere between 1.5 cells in front, which is not ideal, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so let's see. So what is it going to take? I'll tell you what, let's commit this first. So this was, what did I do here? Did I break these tests? Oh no, okay. Just change that constant, yeah. Oh yeah, I don't want to, 1,000 step. All right, let's see if we can quickly debug one of these tests. Let's see why it's broken. And then yeah, I don't really want to commit broken tests again since I did, because that's bad and makes the build red. But yeah, I think if a train stops, if there is a train in the cell or will be in the cell in half a cell or whatever movement, then I think that makes sense. Okay, so we have 3 horizontal tracks. Fine. We're adding a train to row on column 1. Half straight distance, straight track distance, half straight track distance. Okay, so we're moving 2 cells. This is an excellent way to do math that equals 2. Get the train, cool. Okay, so we want to move 2 in 1 step. So you're setting the speed in order to get this to happen in 1 single step. Okay, so so instead of ticking for some amount, yeah, okay, so that makes sense. And I haven't changed the math of how this speed scale multiplier is applied, so this logic should still work out, right? So it starts at 1, sure. It's going to end up half, that's happy. Its angle is 0. Oh, that's a loop 4. Okay, so then we move it. Where do we end up? We haven't moved. Interesting. Look ahead distance on the clone. Thank you for asking. It's Litany. Interestingly, this is the second time this week I've been asked how to pronounce my surname, and curiously today, Troy Hunt on the Dev Around the Sun stream pronounced it incorrectly, so it's a very timely message. Yeah, Emo asked me on Twitter earlier in the week how to pronounce it. So I am Australian, and Australians are lazy. So I basically say, I say Wenja, and I just stop because I'm lazy. I'm Australian. We always cut the end off all of our words. If I was going to be formal, I would say Wengier. A lot of people think it should be Vengier, but my guess is that it's already spelled phonetically. Essentially, my grandparents, after the war, they came from Poland. They went via Russia to Germany to France to Australia. And the surname is spelt however the person at immigration in Australia wrote it down. Or I think it's actually maybe like the person who wrote it down when they got on the boat in Malta to come here or something. I don't know the exact story. But so it was written down by someone in 1952, and that's how I say it. I have first cousins in the UK, and sorry, take that back. They're not my first cousins. They're my grandfather's first cousins, and they don't spell it with the N. So the pronunciation of the person who was saying it to whoever wrote it down is like so key that I assume it's actually W meaning W, because that's what they would have said. But there you go. Speed on the clone, I think, is a very good point. It's look ahead override is null. And yeah, look ahead override there. Okay, cool. Thank you, Roman, for working that out while I was busy chatting. Do I want to just set the look ahead distance property? Yeah, I can do this. Look at distance equals look at distance override. Actually, will that work? No, because I can't set this to null. Alright. Fun. Can I set privates? Because I'm inside. I can. Love it. Don't you love it? I'm setting a private variable on another instance. But it's me. It's another one of me, so I can. Awesome. Oop. Return results. Alright, let's see. Oh, I was debugging. Let's see if you're right. Was it the speed override? It makes sense that it was the look ahead override. And it also makes sense that the train wouldn't move if there's only 3 tracks and it's looking that far ahead. It makes sense the train would stop early. So could be it. Nope. What else is there? Look ahead override. Previous speed. I mean, unless this isn't working. Look ahead distance is essentially get only. Okay, let's debug it again. I'm not sure what else it would be. There it is. Let's take a look ahead. Okay, so let's... Oh, I missed stepping in again. Go away. Go away. Okay, let's start debugging again because I forgot to press buttons. Okay, we will run to there and we will try this out. Okay, so our train is going to move 2. It's looking over a 0, speed is 400. Our dummy train is going to move 2, speed is 0, look at is 0. So that's all correct. And it just says it doesn't want to move. Let's see why not. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is an edge case. Our distance to move here is 0. And so we should always be returning true. But, yeah, okay. So this is just an edge case with this new code where it didn't handle when distance is 0. And the old code obviously did. Let's just quickly have a look at the old code to compare if we can read this diff, which may be tricky. Yeah, okay. So while distance, so distance here would have been set to 0, it wouldn't have entered the loop, and it would have just returned here and said yes. Okay, so if last position is null, tests finding edge cases, yeah, well, if last position is null, that means there were no steps to move. So I guess that means we can move, or do we just do this? Return trial. That's a C#9 keyword, trial. Don't know what it means. All right, let's see if this fixes it. This is why we have tests. This is why I've always been a staunch believer in tests. This is why I've written almost 1/5 of the tests in this game. Oh, I'm the worst. Okay. Woohoo. All right. Yay, we can commit this. So, what do we do here? We did a bunch of things. We refactored train movement to allow pre-computing steps. And let's do that and that and that. Because that's that commit. And then what did we do in here? And was it intentional? Yes, we changed the order. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so now the question is, what we want to do is we want to say, oh, this is actually really hard. Maybe we don't want to do this. So what I was thinking was, train. What I was thinking was that this train would move into a cell if the cell it was moving into, hang on, let me stop. Oh, I missed. Go stop. No, missed. I'll get there. I could have done it then because they were already interacting. So, oh, come on. Okay, so this train is going to sail right through here because there is no train in this cell. So the question is, do we make it so that this train stops? I need the pointer. Stops here. No, not here. Missed again. I will explain this if it kills me. Do we make it so that this train, which is now moving slowly enough that I can stop it, stops now? So right now, both of these trains are saying, can I move to this spot? And they both say yes, and this is how accidents happen. And in fact, these are going so slow that they won't be an accident because they'll each have a chance to reevaluate before they move into the cell. But if their speed was, 200 kilometers an hour, they would both just sail straight through this crossroads because they'd say, yeah, I can move there. Yeah, I can move there. Their next step, they're going to end up here, and they would both just sail through. So do we make it so that each train checks for any other train looking at the cell? I think it makes sense. Priority is a very good point, Ahmad. Thank you very much. Priority is, like, at the moment, these trains, it just goes in order, and it's the order you put them down, essentially. There is no priority among trains. That's an interesting one. But it's also an interesting, do it the dirty way, massive 2D bull array or something is taken. Yeah. Priority is an interesting game mechanic, though, because as the train controller, you could choose the priority of the train. So that might be fun to actually play with and actually build in a priority system as a feature. The other thing, I mean, yeah, a huge massive array, maybe. Semaphores is interesting. I don't know about that. Not a lot of async in this game yet, but some async semaphore waits might be. I mean, essentially that's what their trains are doing. They're waiting till they can move, but it just happens by a timer. Sort trains based on speed. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So priority is up to something. We can come up with a feature. Track semaphores. Oh, what they're named for? Semaphores, that's the flags, isn't it? Signaling. Yeah, that's a... That's... Yes, okay, that's a good point. So you could have the state stored on a track as to whether someone's going to be there. That's a very interesting idea. Again, that's maybe a game mechanic. Maybe this crossroads, like at the moment, this crossroads, any train can go through, but maybe it really should be switches. Maybe signal is broken. Yeah, maybe is that isn't semaphores the flags? No, maybe not. I thought semaphores was the flags that boats use. Wave, hold up things. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. Except that I don't know whether we want to store state on a track just yet. The other thing we can do is, we can just loop through all the trains. The only annoying part about that is that it's kind of inefficient because this train has no way of knowing that it needs to check this train. It has to just check every train on the board. Maybe sort of within a radius, perhaps it could do it, but signals and detector as let's make trains.net Turing complete. Okay. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of, semaphores. This is like a go-to joke of mine when someone is not communicating or I want to communicate with someone. It's like, should I use semaphore or send up a smoke signal? Maybe it could check like trains within a certain radius, I guess. I mean, we don't have to worry about that now because, I mean, at the moment the game is not fast enough to actually work anyway. Like, can we see our track door time? Oh, it's only 3 milliseconds. It gets, yeah, we have a performance issue anyway. I really like the idea of priority being a game mechanic, but I also like the idea of switches being a game mechanic. I just think maybe it's a different type of track, especially when you get into the three-way tracks. To be able to switch that left and right is cool. And then really what you're sort of saying there is not so much whether the track is occupied or not, or anyone's going to be there. It's essentially like, can I go forward? And a train here, with this case, just can't move because the track doesn't connect. Well, I guess that would be, yeah. Should I use a semaphore slim? Yes, well, of course you should use a slim one because they're better than I won't say it, but it's probably bad. A big one. It's an interesting thing of, do we loop through all the trains? So the other thing with the trains that I was thinking is, at the moment, this is very linear, right? We loop through all of the trains and we move them. We could split them, parallelize them, but then your ordering becomes interesting. The only edge case is a crossroads. The Y tracks work today. Not sure what you mean by that. The same problem exists at Y tracks. So if I do this one, that one, and then that one. So these two trains still kind of, well, not anymore they don't, but they still kind of overlap a little bit too closely sometimes. Like you can see there, they get awfully close. And there's still contention there. Because one's trying to move in here and this one's trying to move in here, and they're both seeing this as empty, but you're thinking, you're thinking coming back the other way. Well, coming back the other way is interesting as well, because you could have a train coming this way and going down and another one coming here, and it's two trains on the same track, which is probably a bad idea, but strictly speaking, it would work. So I think let's give it a try. It shouldn't be too hard. Essentially, what we're saying is instead of checking for another train, we're going to check for something else, which means we're going to explode out this if statement. Somehow. So we are going to say, well, actually, let's give this a try. Let's invert the if. See, I don't think that's more readable. But okay, so no, we can say, so if next track is null, break. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So, no track to move to. Put there. Track doesn't equal next track, and track dot. Ugh. This is just slightly ugly logic, but is this what you meant by break out the if, by the way? Maybe. So this is next track is not connected. And then we have if the other train that is us. Whoa. So nice to read, really? This is still confusing to me. If the other train isn't null and the other train is different, break. I don't know why, that's still, other than that comment being wrong. Yes, thank you, Roman. I don't know, that's still not, yeah, I mean, it's better. It's not perfect. But that's all right, because actually we're going to get rid of this anyway, aren't we? Are we? No, we're not. All right, so what do we need to do now? We now need to loop through all of the trains. Other. Can we reuse other train? No. Other in movables. And train if other equals. We don't need to check ourselves. Want it. Okay, so for every other train, we want to get all of the steps. Distance to move is the train's look-ahead distance. The other train's look-ahead distance. And then we want to oh, this is where we need a double break. Do I dare use a goto, or will I be lynched? So if other steps dot any, so if any of these want to move into where I'm going to go, or and we want to break, obviously, but we want to found under fragment. Yeah, that should take into account the other train's speed, and yeah, because look at distance is now dynamic. I'd almost like to get rid of this and just have a flag to say, are we looking ahead, or are we actually moving? But the other thing actually that's interesting, actually that's, if this passes, then Yeah, this is kind of silly now. This should be get the steps. If the steps are validated, then apply the steps. We don't need to calculate move twice. But anyway, this isn't slow, so it's okay. But hey, look, Roman just typed that. Maybe. To calculate all the train next steps, then determine what each train does based on all those steps. Yeah, we could definitely do that. That's probably worth doing especially if there's ever any asynchrony. That happened. Damn. That makes perfect sense, and yet is frustrating because I want one of them to win. Build up a list of taken tracks as you go. Yes, could do that. Calculate all the train's next steps and then determine each train based on, yes, build up a list as you go. I like that idea. Priority. I forgot about priority, and here it is wielding its ugly head. But so this is interesting. If I slow this train down, no, it doesn't help. This kind of deadlock is annoying because this is a type of deadlock where you want to apply priority. But this is the type of deadlock where you don't want to apply priority. Oh God, you're not rating me from the Dev Around the Sun stream, are you? Oh dear. Next steps is kind of the short route table. Yes, it is a short route table. So process all of the. I'm trying to read the chat before it just scrolls way out of view here. Process the priority ones first. They take the cells they need. So move all of the priority trains. So unless these both had priority, that's. But priority is not an objective list, right? Like priority is a comparison between two trains. You can't. Well, I guess if you just order, no, you can order them, but I'm not sure. I have to think about that. That would mean that you would process each train and you wouldn't loop through. Okay, so what you wouldn't do is here you wouldn't loop through every other train. You would loop through all of the trains that haven't moved, which is interesting. Calculate all steps, then order the trains, then apply the steps in sequence. You still need a way to know. Yeah, okay, and then if you build up the list as you go. Hi, Rambling Geek, welcome. Yeah, if you build up the list of steps as you go, they're the ones you're comparing to the previous things. That makes sense. That's a kind of a large refactoring. I also realized I should check. Oh no, none of these tests are going to pass. Yeah, that makes sense. God, I really wish. You know what we need is creative mode. Because I want to put a train here, and then I want to color in a circle, a square purple, and then think about it. Creative and survival mode. We were talking about that today in the Discord. Yeah, look, I set up a Discord. Yay! I set up a command too. Look, I set up another one. They're the only two. Move one train, add its tracks to the list. Move train 2, data to see. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, so that actually should be easier too. So when we move this train, so we need this method now to return a list of tracks. So we're going to have taken tracks. I guess it doesn't return it, just adds to it. And we will do it in the look ahead, and we don't need to do it in the move. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to calculate the steps. We're going to get the next track. And if let's do a hash so make it fast. So if we didn't, oh my goodness me, there's 135 people coming. Hello everybody. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to my humble stream. I know I feel bad having the code open. I need to have the trains open because the trains are cute. I'm not cute, the trains are cute. Hang on, wait, look, watch. You draw tracks. And you put trains on them. And you make them go faster. And then you draw like words. And you go, hi. That says Kai, but we'll ignore that. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed Dev Around the Sun. This is an absolute honour. I need to put more trains down. Oh, they don't go anywhere. Ooh, I found a bug. They're sideways. Thank you for the bits and the cheers and all of the things and the tracks. I can do vertical ones. I can show off. One day you'll be able to draw a track in the Twitch chat and it'll appear on the screen. But today is not that day. Today is, I don't even know what it is. So okay, if the track is taken, we break. Is it that easy? I feel like that's way too easy. But let's find out. Who knows anymore? Exactly, who knows? Today is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday at 10 o'clock. This is the one true time zone. Sorry, Amy. It's the one true time zone. Okay. I need more tracks. I need to draw straight lines with my mouse. Or not. Oh no, I broke the world. See, this is what happens. You get famous people come into your chat and break the world. I can't even decide on one time zone. Of course I can. It just changes in summer, but that makes perfect sense because the sun comes up earlier. I don't... John Skeet overloaded me a tad when it comes to time. Well, he has the power to do that. Definitely. The problem here is that next track we might be moving less than a track. Okay. Yeah, let's just move these checks first. And then if track doesn't equal next track. The switch between AEST and AEDT are different time zones. They are, but you can also just say Australian Eastern Time, and it makes sense. I don't want to be working or like waking up when it's already been light for 2 hours. I was in Queensland one year and they don't have daylight savings. I would wake up at 5 a.m. because the sun was streaming in the window, and I'd go for a walk and everyone is just sitting around watching TV waiting for 9 o'clock to start work, and it's terrible. It is terrible. Daylight savings makes sense. That's all I'll hear about it. I should not have invited this debate in my chat on a Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. Oh dear, you need to claim the track you're on now. Right. John Skeet told me it was not worth worrying about timey-wimey stuff. I worry about very small increments of timey-wimey stuff because I have this wonderful number here, which is the number of milliseconds to draw these tracks, which you can't see because they're under the tracks. So I worry about this number needs to be less than 16. But apparently, like aside from that, that's all I care about. Why are you leaving, Amy? Done me something. Queensland has it right. WA has it right. Just get up earlier. Well, see, I can't ask you if your work starts earlier because you work in your own time. But if the whole of society did that, I would be on board. But if the whole of society sticks to starting work at 9 a.m., it doesn't make sense. Anyway, I like daylight savings because I work for an American team, and at the moment I have about an hour of overlap with them, and in summer I have way more. Why isn't this working? You can do stuff before you go to work. I can barely do stuff when I'm at work. Don't tax my brain. I'm going to debug. I'm going to debug with all of Dev Around the Sun watching. Or at least some. That's it. Wrong button. Okay. Oh, I really also need to fix these tracks because this doesn't tell me what it is at all. Thank you for following Dilbot9000. Yeah, definitely welcome. Dilbots 0 through 8999 have added nothing to this channel, but I have high hopes. 9,000 is the magic number. Yeah, the problem is we need to ignore the tracks that were taken by us. So what that means is a new list. We will add to our taken tracks. We will get rid of this. And then at the end, we will add, oh, can't I add a range? Curse you, assets. Thanks for the follow, Sana. Thank you. See you later. Have fun. Hope you enjoyed Dev Around the Sun. Union? Oh, is there? Oh, union with. Cool. Didn't know that. I always thought union was just a link thing, but anyway. Calling it null ref exception on line 131. Oh, all right, there's a challenge. 131, taken tracks. Next track. No, disagree. No null ref. Sorry, not going to happen. I dare ya. Oh, I didn't build. I can't dare you because I didn't build. Thank you, Liam W1977, for following. Much appreciated. Welcome aboard. It doesn't work. It still doesn't work. Don't you pass null into it? No, I don't pass null into it because it's the null check up here. And even if I did, I'm not sure that would have null refed. But maybe. This is fine. This is all fine. I'm going to assume this is all fine. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so we have taken one track. It is at 9,2. Oh, and then the move is going to check. And then, oh, there's a null. Oh, wait, yeah, that should have null. That should have totally null ref right there. It probably did. I think you're right. Thank you, Scott. How frustrating. Not that you were right, of course. Hey, Tim. Welcome. Thank you for following. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. How are you? How is all of your things? Why didn't VS pick it up? Oh no, VS is complaining up here. That's my fault. I should declare this like this, and then VS would have complained. But I did the wrong thing. Yay, the trains move. Okay. Watch the purple circles. Wait for time to pass. Let's slow that one down now. Go. Damn it. Missed it by that much. For the void return, you can do taken tracks union with. That's... Can you? Yeah, I guess you can. Maybe. Can you do that? Probably. Go trains, interact. Oh, they're not doing it. This is the worst part about this, is you've got to wait for things to happen. Hey, Tim. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is things? What time are you getting up to do your NDC Oslo talk now that it's all virtual? Do you have to get up at some horrible hour? I can't remember when I was there. They did it, and they acted nicely. Oh, I think this is working. This is very exciting. Let's do the weird little double helixy test. Oh, quick trail tracks. Okay, so they're going to go down. So we're going to put the trains here. Go. I was too slow. I'm not used to doing it vertically. I was too slow. There we go. Yes. That is brilliant. They are polite little trains. I love it. That's really cool. All right. Do the test pass. And then now the question is, what new tests do we actually have to create to validate this stuff? Because that was a bunch of trial and error, and it really shouldn't be. That was good. Okay, come on, tests. Go tests. I think the next step is to create a release. I think we need to gift this upon the world. Oh, the test pass. How weird. I think we need to gift this upon the world and let the people find the bugs. Don't move if another train wants to move where we move. Maybe? Sure. All right. So, creating a release. I'm going to assume that we can do this. Release the power by tagging specific points of history. Is that all? That seems easy. Is there a good reason not to tag a release on every single build? Probably not. I was just looking at your GitHub repo. Do you have a working Comet front end? I do. In fact, you're looking at it. This is all Comet. Ignore the ugliness of the buttons. That's entirely my fault. Actually, I can make some of the buttons slightly prettier to prove it to you in mere milliseconds. If I go here, I can go global comments.skier.controls.init, and this will change to skier drawn buttons. Now, only some of the buttons are skier drawn because most of the buttons are actually my own custom control. But so these buttons, see, these are all lovely, lovely skier buttons. They actually look really good, and I kind of want to get rid of my own buttons here because they're ugly. But this sort of radio button style thing is why I did it, what I was going for. But yeah, this actually looks way better. I should just check this in. Oh. But yeah, no, this is Comet. I really like it. I'm really not good at it. But actually, I had some thoughts about Comet. Right. James Clancy, are you watching? If not, well, I'll clip this and I'll show it to you. I had some thoughts. I had some issues with Comet initially, and they were all my fault. But essentially what I did, see all of this state here. So this is the essentially the view model that controls the top panel. And so it has state for what is the current train, what should be displayed for the name of the current train, and what should be displayed for the speed of the current train. When I started using Comet and I did the very simple UI, like so this little configuration button that just changes what's shown here, this very simple UI was so easy to do that I fell into this trap of thinking Comet was way smarter than it was. And so what I did essentially was I had, for example, here, train controls dot, why didn't that work? Because I missed another. Train controls dot current train dot value dot speed. So this is pulling the speed. Oh, I don't know. As a string. So this is pulling the speed out of my domain object, my plain old C#, the Comet Caboose. Thank you, Scott. So this is pulling the speed straight out of my plain old class. And I was lulled into this false sense of security because Comet was so awesome out of the gates that it would just magically know when this changed. And of course it doesn't. And that makes sense when you think about it. But so what I did was I mucked around with adding iNotify property changed. Oh, no, it's just notify property change. No, it's not. Why isn't that coming up? I mucked around with adding this and with adding iNotify property red. And this didn't help. There was also a slight issue with I didn't really want to reference Comet from here. Now, that's not Comet's fault. Like, you know, if that was in the .NET framework, like in system component model, then that'd be fine. But so I referenced iNotify property red. I fired it from these property setters and getters and whatever else, and it still didn't work, and it was really frustrating. But it makes sense. What's happening here is Comet knows about this state, but it can't hook up to this. It can't hook up to the event for this speed property because it doesn't ever see the object that that property comes from, if that makes sense. And I was thinking about it in the context of the current thing that is all exciting around .NET and C# is source generators. And so source generators would help me, and I could do, for example, iNotify property changed. And I could, you know, I could change this to be private float speed, and I could say, you know, auto notify or something. And this is actually one of the examples in the source generators thing in Roslyn for auto notify, and it would generate me the property, it would generate me all the events or whatever. And so I was thinking about doing that, but as I say, it doesn't work. So the interesting thing that I was then wondering about, and I haven't really thought about this or tried it, but maybe one day I'll try it just to see. The interesting thing to see would be, can we use a source generator on this code? Because this code essentially has two purposes. So Comet will do a pass over this lambda to work out, okay, what properties are used in coming up with this string. So it would see current train, it wouldn't see the speed. And then the rest of the time it just runs this bit of code to actually find out what value to display. But when it's doing its pass over this, you could imagine we could use a source generator to generate another copy of this code, which is one problem. Source generators have to add code, they can't modify it. But you could imagine a source generator that did something like convert this code into if state manager dot is building, then state manager dot add whatever, or current read properties dot add. And so a source generator could look at this little bit of code here and say, okay, that thing, fine, that's, whatever. This thing, this is an iNotify property read, I will add this property. This thing, right? This thing is on an iNotify property read, right? By virtue of the compilation knowing that this property is on this class, the source generator can read and see that this class implements this interface. And then it could just manually hook up this state. The interesting thing about it is I wonder if it wouldn't also be faster than the way Comet currently does it, which is just by running the code to find out. It might not be because it has to run the code anyway to get the text. But so I was thinking that maybe this might be an interesting idea to explore one day and just see if we can make Comet smarter. But also, and this is where I need to chat to James, because this is also me wanting to make myself lazier. Because essentially, I don't want to make view models for everything. I'm super lazy. And it's not hard, but I don't know, there's something about this having the state and I mean, you know, whether these commands are probably not supposed to be here ideally, but anyway, I've been thinking about that for about a week, so that was good to get that off my chest. Thank you very much for asking that question, reminding me to rant about that for a bit. Before I forget, Scott bought a name for a train, and whoa, go back. Scott gets his name. I'm glad you liked it. Hopefully it made sense. I'm by far not a Comet expert, but I really like, well, there's two things I really like. I really like this declarative UI, especially for something like this where I'm just putting a bunch of buttons and the rest is all procedurally drawn anyway. I really like this declarative UI, which is not, you know, I could use Xamarin Forms to do this or whatever, but yes, Clancy is the only comment. Yes, you're right. But yeah, I love the automatic state and the fact that all these things, like I have down here, oh, they don't work now because of these skier buttons, but so this is the size of the cells for printing, right? So because this is all procedural, you can just tweak all the drawing, and I love that. And it's really cool that all this changes dynamically because it's being rendered on the, you know, it's being rendered 60 frames a second. It would, all I want is for these things to update, right? That says 40. If I go like that, well, now it's 31. And that's only not updating because the class doesn't fire the right events or whatever. So it's solvable. I'm just lazy. Yes, John actually fixed, so this is WPF, and John fixed a bunch of layout bugs. Like this didn't used to work. I used to have to press this button and then resize the form to get it to redisplay. So yeah, he fixed the layout bugs. Very happy with that. And I mean, one day, hopefully, I'll get a, you know, it'd be nice to have a Mac and an iOS version of this for nothing. And I do have a Blazor branch that doesn't use Comet, but it could. But that branch is kind of, it's not really going anywhere because the drawing is too slow. It's got nothing to do with Comet. It's just drop. What have I done? I don't want that change. And let's not do that one because some of the UI broke. Oh, no. Wrong. Sorry, Scott. I need to put your train back again. That's the second time that happened. I wonder if that's a bug. What was it called? The Comet Caboose. Yeah, I'm in the Comet Discord, and I've asked a few questions and a few pointed things about this, and yeah, one day I'll jump on a stream with James maybe, and we'll nut it out. But I do want to dig into it more. Like I added, so I've got it as a sub module here because I want to fix some of these bugs if I can, just to help out, because it's such a huge, like if I change this to a Z stack, because I want the train control panel to be over the drawable control, it just doesn't work. And I don't know why, and I want to dig into it one day, but it's hard. You know, it's only one guy, like James is writing this basically by himself, and it targets iOS, Android, you know, Xamarin Forms, targets everything. And of course he's on a Mac, so he never uses WPF. So I would love to be able to help him by, I'm actually dogfooding the WPF bits. Oh, my trains. Oh no. But yeah, one day. I wanted to get the trains moving first. All right, what were we doing? I've been just. Thank you for the derail. That was fun. Thank you for the follow. Remage Furs. Remage Furs. That's a fun name to say. Thank you. All right, so let's see. How do we do a release? Let's just do a release every build. Let's do it. Wait, no, I don't want to release. Wait a minute. I want I want to release, but how do I make the EXE available? Releases are powered by tagging. Okay, I can tag. Attach binaries. So presumably I have to produce some artifacts from a build, I would imagine. Let's find out. Yes, generate artifacts. That's exactly what I mean. Name, I guess well, let's not worry about the name. Purge artifacts, delete artifacts. Thank you for following BC Saba. BC Saba. GitHub upload release artifacts. That's what I want. Upload artifacts to a release. Interesting. So I have to create a release first. I do. Created tags. Default is. Okay. How do I specify what the... You know what? I should probably Google for this. Let's see. GitHub actions create release.net exe. Let's find out. Action/create release. That sounds good. Toy.net or web app? No, not a web app. I want to publish a console app, or at least we'll pretend it's a console app. Tag name, release name, body, draft process. See, where do you specify the artifacts? Create release. So create a list. Upload release asset. Okay. All right. So we need to. Okay. So first we create a release, then we upload assets to it. Fair enough. Upload URL, which could come from another grid of actions. Yep, that sounds good. Browser download URL. That's interesting. Why would that be a parameter? That's the output. Oh, sorry, that's the output from this. Okay, cool. I'm still not seeing. Oh, asset path. Okay. All right, let's try this. So let's just do this. This is just doing .NET Build, right? So MS Build. Oh no, it's MS Build. Okay. Let's do this one then. And it's MS Build. What are we doing? MS Build. That one. Where does it put the exes? And I probably should do like build them into a single exe or something. Package them. I wonder how big that will be. Probably enormous. Actually, I can find out. So, trains, I'm guessing it just goes in here. Release. That's me, Net472. This comment. Oh, God. I don't want all those directories, that's for sure. Yeah, .NET Build stopped working. Why did it stop working? Oh yeah, because Comet has 23 meg. Comet has some non-SDK style projects, and yeah, .NET Build didn't work with it, and it's actually one of the annoying things about bringing in a third-party thing, especially as a submodule, is this now has to build in my build infrastructure, and you know, it's opinionated, and if it doesn't work with this project, I can't really easily change this project. I would love to, because I would also love this to target .NET Core, not .NET Framework, but never mind. I should still be able to publish it as a single file, though. But I'm not using publish. Yeah, build No, that might work. Is this called publish single file? It is. So let's find out if this actually works. I probably need to run the publish target. I want that. So let's... I have no idea if this will work. Nope. But it did something different. Publishing to a single file. Yeah, okay. Oh, so I can't publish to a single file. So I guess I can still publish it and just zip it all up, right? That's better than nothing. All right, so no, let's go create release. I want the official one because that's the one I looked up the documentation for. Is there a better way to see? Nope. Okay. Create a release. Marketplace is all third party. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was kind of hoping there'd be a GitHub tab. Alright, so we want to use create release. I guess we need that. Let's copy all that. Oh, YAML. Yep. Body. Let's just go into the body. Who cares? Oh no, I tell you what. We'll call it this. Draft pre-release. We should probably call them all pre-releases. Okay, so that'll create a release, and then now we want to upload our assets. Goes here. Interesting bug. Whoa, that hit the wrong browser. Is that Carriages? Carriages is yes, this is hilarious. Yeah, Scott posted this on the Discord earlier today, and it's great. Yeah, that. So yeah, the JavaScript TypeScript version has bugs, lots of bugs around carriages, especially things like if you have a train with lots of carriages, if you switch to another tab in Chrome, you know, whatever Chrome does to the JavaScript, presumably pauses it, but when you switch back, it doesn't recover properly, and you end up with this sort of thing, and it's hilarious. You end up with an absolute mess. I was asked today whether the .NET version will maintain feature parity and will have the same bugs. Whoops. And I don't know. I'd like to think not, but probably, because it's hard. Okay, upload release asset. Could do cool. Upload URL. Cool. Okay. Oh, I need to zip it. Is there a zip action? Create release? No. All right, I'm sure this one. Zip release. Create zip file. That'll do. Why is there never any documentation? Oh, with args. Okay, that seems fair enough. Oh, you just have to call the zip argument yourself. That's fine. I can do that. All right. The users. No, so I want a name zip release. All right. What are we doing? We're going to put it in. Sure. And we are going to zip. It was source/trains.net.wpf/bin/release. And I actually don't want recursive because let's leave the translations off. I hope that file name doesn't have to be unique. I don't know if it does, but we will see. And I want to... Oh, I can do it from here. Oh, I can't... Oh, I was going to PR this, but it won't build in the PR branch because it's the master push. So I guess I just pushed a master then, I guess. Do I have anything here? I do. I need to do some commits. Oh yeah, right. Don't want that. Okay, I want that one. And I don't think I want this one. No. Alright, let's push that up and then let's break the build in style. What's time? 10:38. Will we get a release this evening before I wilt and turn into a pumpkin? That is the question. It's a question. Okay. Yep. Let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? We all sit around, we watch an action run, and we hope for the best. Nope, didn't work. Really? Really? Already? What is it? An invalid file? Yep. You have an error in your YAML syntax on line 41. Okay. Is env not at that line? How come that? Shouldn't that validate in the editor? Okay, what have I done? Users. I'm guessing that goes there. Maybe? Yeah, okay, that goes there. What's wrong with this? Bad indentation. Okay, that needs a space there. No? That needs to go back one. God, I hate YAML. Oh, okay, everything needs to go back one. Okay, that looks right. We'll do this. And we'll do that. And we'll just go here. We can all watch this for a minute. This is my mate Jeff in Sydney, wrote this page. I used to think that the concerns about YAML were perhaps overblown. But that's because I'd never used it before. It's kind of annoying. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I guess, I mean, if you had a good editor, if you had an editor that automatically formats and things, it'd be fine. Boy, it could be better. So, while we're waiting for this to build, how is everyone? Should we draw some trains? So if this is version 0.1, and I've no idea where these version numbers are coming from either. I'll be very curious to see what GitHub does. The question is, what is in version 0.2? Got to think up some features. MJT, I have been developing C# and .NET for many years. I have absolutely no idea what any of this is doing. Yeah, it feels like that sometimes. Where I used to work had a very customized set of build scripts, and it was using ancient technology, but they all worked, so we never touched them. And then, of course, as soon as you want to try and upgrade to anything new, it's like, yeah, learning. Well, I mean, it is learning a whole new language. YAML kind of is a language. I mean, I guess it's, I don't know, format a language. It's interesting. So I work on the .NET project system team at Microsoft, so I'm responsible for this sort of project. And in fact, I own project file editing. So the fact that you can go boom, boom, and get the project, that's me. I kind of want to demo. There's an awesome text merging algorithm in here that I just wrote a couple of weeks ago, and it's shipped in this preview version, and it's so cool. But like, when it works, it just works. It doesn't. It's not flashy. But anyway, I have been on that team for 18 months, and I have learnt so much about MS Build and project files and everything since that. It is ridiculous. If you want to sit through it, and I don't necessarily recommend it because it's up to you, but if you want to, if you go to this link there with the videos, which appears to be badly formatted because the U's there, but so all the videos from this series are uploaded on YouTube, and the first one in particular, if you want to know about like MS Build and kind of how it works and how to diagnose problems or whatever, the first stream I ever did was like scratching an itch. I wanted to tell the world about all the stuff I'd learned about MS Build because I wish I'd known it 3-4 years ago when I was last in charge of these build systems. And it's stuff that a lot of .NET devs use every day, but really don't, like, it's hard to know everything. So that first stream goes into some details about how I set up my projects, and that's sort of how the .NET org sets up their projects, but also very briefly, how MS Build works and how to find issues if you have issues. And yeah, I mean, it's the stuff that I have found very helpful. Hopefully you might too. But... Okay, zip failed. Excellent. Container action is only supported on Linux. Well, that makes sense. Okay, let's find another zip file. Action. I mean, that's the best error that we could possibly get, because at least it's like, I'm not asking for something horrible there. I don't know, we'll try that one. That's a 7-zip. It says Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Sorry, Scott Hanselman, if you're watching. I did it wrong. How do we know? Nope, Ubuntu. How do we know which ones run on Windows and which ones run on Linux? Can we search for Windows? No. When in doubt, Google. Ah, dear. GitHub Toolkit. Google it with Bing. Did I Google it with Google or Bing? I can't remember. Oh, it was Bing. I honestly don't even know. A set of packages. Cool. Doesn't help me. Nope. Sometimes you have to Google for Bing. You have to Google for Google on Bing in order to Google to find good results. See, Google lies, because this is the one I'm already using. Zip release. Sure, we'll try that one. Sure, we'll try that one. It is annoying, it doesn't actually say what it runs on, though. But, well, no, that's the one I'm using. Wait, which one am I using? I can't even remember. All right, hang on. Let's see. What's installed? What's installed for .NET Framework apps? Let's see if Tim links to any documentation. And this is web, and he's using publishing, which is definitely the way to go, but I can't use... Oh, and he's running it on... Oh no, here we go. Oh, so I could use... Huh. Okay. So I could maybe use MS Build to do some publishing. That's interesting. here we are. The documentation shows what's installed. Thank you very much, Tim. This is what I want. Okay, Chocolatey. So I could install 7-zip via Chocolatey. This seems crazy, but I totally could. Wix done a thing. So many versions. PowerShell. I'm sure PowerShell can zip, right? Any PowerShell experts? Use a PowerShell option. Compress archive. There you go. Thank you, Scott. See, I knew you'd know. I'm just going to quickly Google for... Oh, 7-zip. So 7-zip's installed. Alright. I don't even know how to do a PowerShell command in GitHub Actions, but we will find out. Scroll down, find the source code. Don't wonder about a secret. Oh no, I don't want to define the whole action with PowerShell. Yuck. Command lit. Nope. Workflows index. On fine. It's got to be a use, right? It's got to be like a use PowerShell or a use thingy jobs. Sorry if the scrolling is hurting your eyes. It's kind of hurting mine. Here we go, PowerShell. Okay, so there's a steps and a run. I can do that. Back to our file. This one? I love how it's .NET Core.yaml. Yeah, it used to be .NET Core. It's not now. All right, so zip release. So we just go run compress archive path is that one, and destination path is release.zip. Okay, we'll give that a go. Thank you, Scott. Oh, shell PowerShell. Okay. Thank you, Scott. PowerShell zipping. This is where what I am now tempted to do is, if I write a console app in this solution that does all of this publishing, I don't need to bother with YAML. Oh dear. Right, we're back to waiting. What were we doing while we were waiting? Were we drawing trains? I can't remember. Was I rambling on about Comet some more? What should I ramble about now? Oh yes, MS Build. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, I've said my bit. Cake Build. Yeah, I've used Cake before. So, alright, we're back to rambling about MS Build. Here's my opinion on all build systems. All build systems are some form of file, be it Cake, which looks like C#, or MS Build, which looks like XML, or PSAke, which looks like PowerShell. It's not derailed. I'm spending time. It's fine. We're waiting. All of these build systems, ultimately, most of the time with .NET stuff, will end up either calling MS Build or CSC. So the ones that I used to use, we used Nant, which is XML, looks a lot like MS Build. It calls the C# compiler directly. They all essentially do the same thing. They're just different flavors, right? And so it comes down to possibly features, because what helper methods or helper tasks, etc., already exist. Or it just comes down to preference. And if you like using C#, then use C#. I have used Cake in the past, and it's really nice to use some C#-esque features, especially if you're doing string manipulation and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like, I feel like if you can get to a point where you can understand the abstraction layer below what you're using, then you become a better developer. So you can be an expert developer and, an expert Cake build script developer, But when your cake scripts end up calling MSBuild, I think you really benefit from learning how to use MSBuild, or at least learning about MSBuild. And the problem with that, in a way, is once you've then learned how to use MSBuild, you kind of be like, well, do I need cake? And sometimes yes, especially if you have huge infrastructure. But for this, this is really simple. I mean, this essentially builds with one command line of MSBuild. It used to build with .NET Build, and it will again, if I switch Comet back to NuGet packages, this will totally just go .NET Build, .NET Publish, done. So yeah, my current personal preference is just sort of stick with the foundation stuff, I guess. But yeah, I just like knowing one abstraction layer lower. So Scott Hanselman has this interesting example once where his wife lost her wedding ring down the sink, and she panicked because she didn't understand what happened once it went down the sink, the hole in the sink. She didn't understand at all. That was her level of knowledge. He knew that underneath in the cupboard there was an S bend or a P bend or whatever, and he could get it out. So he did. So he knew one level of abstraction lower. I was on the phone to a plumber today about getting some stormwater and sewerage lines capped, and I have no idea what that means, but I know, I know the line level up to there, but then I had to call a plumber. But yeah, I don't know. Once you sort of understand what the MSBuild is doing, it just seems like a more sensible thing. Oh my god, it's working. No way. Oh my god. How did that possibly work? Okay, so this didn't work, maybe. Interesting. Let's find out. We have one release. Ooh. Okay, so we need to do something about versioning. But 14 meg zip file looks about right. And if we open it, does it have all of our files in it? Someone, I know, Scott is currently unzipping this file, and he has faster internet than I do, and he's going to tell me that it works before I get to look. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. Who will win? My virus scanning or chat? Oh, it's downloading slowly. Ha! Oh, we got the release folder. Oh, the Net472 folder. I forgot about that one. Okay. That's cool. That's alright. So, what we want to do, we're going to make some minor adjustments here. And I'm not going to worry about versioning at the moment because I'm really tired and I want to go to bed. But let's clean up this thing. So, Net472, that says 372. And then we need to look at some documentation. And we can close all these tabs because miraculously that actually worked. Yeah, that one. Pass through. Oh, no. Update. No. Literal path. /*. Is that all I need? Hey, YG Dev, thank you for following and thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. /*. You reckon that's it? Just an asterisk? Give it a go. Can we do non-recursive? How recursion can affect archives. That is what this implies, that it doesn't recurse. Should I do this without the recurse option? Is that what they're saying? Okay, that makes sense. I can do that. I actually kind of like that a little bit better. It's maybe a bit clearer that it doesn't, like, than the asterisk thing. Oh, I should have kept that path. Ugh. What is it? /source/trains.net.pf. This is the next thing I guess I need to do is create my semi-output paths a bit better. Alright, so we get rid of recurs, and that should work, and that should work, and that should work. And yes, I need some versioning. Alright. We're back to waiting for GitHub Actions again. But I can promise you this is the last time. Because I'm ready to call it quits. But I do appreciate you all hanging out with me. It was fun. We solved some bugs, and then we ranted about build systems for a while, which is, you know, it's part of the job. Oh no. Oh, did I break something? Oh no, this is using ZStack. That's okay. I'd recommend nerdbank.git version. Yes, I completely agree. Nerdbank.git version is great, and actually is what I was using at the old job that had the horrible build system. We still use Git version. Yeah, I love Git versioning. It's awesome, awesome concept. And yeah, Nerdbank is written by Andrew Arnott, who works on Visual Studio at Microsoft. So I even know the author. And I've asked him lots of questions because he's super, super smart, as you can tell, because Nerdbank.git version is pretty clever. Yeah, definitely should do that, because I would, well, if nothing else, I would like to make it clear that this is most definitely a version 1 or a version 0.1, perhaps more accurately. But I don't think too many people are going to stumble across it. But hey, if you give it a try, please let me know what you think. Oh, I want 2 crosses in a row. There is a way to do this. You would think I would know because it's my own game. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. Now we just watch little ants march around a train track while we wait for build to finish. Oh, see, they still overlapped. Not good enough. Not good enough. They still bumped into each other. Alright, let's see if it happens again. Now I want more colours. I want them to be coloured red when there's contention for the track. And also it's weird that the cell under the train isn't coloured in purple. That should definitely be done, because that's like the no-go zone. That was nicer. I'm watching the blue one. I should mention, I'm watching the blue one interact with these two. Is where I noticed the bug. But now they're all being polite. And the purple is so annoying when they're being polite. It's like, they need sounds. Something to entertain the masses. Yeah, so that worked. Whoa. So when you go really big, crossroads look terrible. Trains look humorously small. Alright, how's our action going? No, it's still going. Building. Yeah, building also takes way longer now that Comet is a submodule, because it's got to build so much more. It's kind of funny. There we are. Oh, look at those corners. Yuck. I just like playing with the drawing and watching them go around. It's very therapeutic. How are we going? We're running tests. Still marching around the track. Oh no! What? Validation failed. Is the zip file empty? Oh, that could be a problem. No, wait. Oh, no, this will be a duplicate. Okay, I need a version number. This will be... I need to delete this release, presumably. Can I delete it? Ooh, can you not delete releases? I mean, that kind of makes sense. Maybe you delete the tag? But it would also make sense if you can't do that. Alright. I'm afraid, as unsatisfying as it is, I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to get into Googling how releases work on GitHub. But yeah, deleting the tag and forcing it. But yeah, I think version numbers is obviously the way to go. So I think we'll tackle that next time. There is at least a release. So if you really want to, you can play. Let's see if anyone is on to visit. Is Tim still working on he was working on a racing game. So, oh, shush. I kind of wish there was a mute mode for this. Should we go visit Tim? Angular, it's a bit front-endy. Let's go. It does say he's working on Accelerate. Oh, Postmortem. Cool. Let's go visit Tim. I've got to remember how to do this now. But yeah, thank you for joining me, everybody, and hope you had fun. Thank you for coming over from Dev Around the Sun, if you did. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out. And if you want to know what you missed out on, then it'll be on YouTube in a couple of days. Until then, thank you very much. See you later, or see you over on Tim's channel.